Kara inhaled deeply and blew the dust off a row of books with cracked covers and ripped spines. The air smelled like a mixture of old glue and mildew. The dust motes hovered like a swarm of insects, and the hot and humid damp lingered and clung to her clothes. It was not the perfect environment to stow old books, but she loved how the smell of ink and paper seeped out. It was the smell of imagination, where great minds came together and created magic with their words, the smell of adventures not yet discovered. In books, anything was possible, and she loved it. She wiped the perspiration from her forehead and pulled her hair into a ponytail. She squeezed The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn between The Call of the Wild and The Old Man in the Sea in the classic novels section. She nudged them into a perfect straight line, with their spines arranged vertically. Once satisfied with her work, she wiped the moisture and dirt from her hands onto her blue jeans, adding to the layer of grime from the day's work. The latter creaked and wobbled under her weight. She clasped her hands firmly around the rail and stepped down carefully. Once she reached the bottom, she jumped the last step. With a smile on her face, Kara pushed a metal trolley piled with books and magazines toward the front of the shop. She ducked under the single light bulb that flickered nervously from a loose wire in the center of the shop and drove the trolley between crooked stacks of books that wiggled up to the ceiling in some places and teetered perilously. Rays of light spilled through a large bay window in the front of the shop and illuminated the bookshelves in a soft golden glow. Dust particles glowed in the light like miniature snowflakes. Kara could see the gray cobwebs that draped from the highest corners of the ceiling and made a mental note to sweep them later with her broom. Brown and beige striped wallpaper peeled from the walls behind a fragile wooden counter that lined the right side of the shop. An old cash register with manual buttons and a red lever sat above it. Below the cash register was a glass case displaying different sizes of crystal balls. Kara giggled at her distorted reflections in them. A warm breeze brushed Kara's bangs from her face. Wind chimes sang faintly above the open front door. Kara sneezed. The trolley jerked. A thick blanket of dust covered most of the back bookshelves, a clear indication that she still had a lot of cleaning to do. It would take weeks to dust the shop free from years of neglect. She seriously doubted whether it had ever been clean to begin with. On her very first day at the shop, Kara had given the windows a good cleaning and had swept and scraped the floors of dingy brown grime and maroon stains that she'd rather not think about. Kara gladly inhaled the summer wind from the open door, dandelions and freshly cut lawns. Her spirits lifted with each new smell. It was an awesome feeling. School was over, and she was now officially an employee in a place she loved and for a man she admired. Mr. Patterson had given her a summer job in his bookstore. Her duties were to help him categorize all the new books into a new computer program, to keep the shop clean, and to work the cash register when he was on his lunch break. It had proven to be the best job ever, and Kara was determined to save enough money for the first semester at Dawson College. Mr. Patterson even told her that he would keep her on part-time when she went to school. She couldn't ask for a better boss or a better job. At last, things were finally looking up for her. With the trolley parked, she grabbed a handful of National Geographic magazines and placed them by corresponding dates along the middle shelf from the magazine rack. She shuffled them together and froze. Her hair stood on end. Kara inexplicably sensed a presence. She followed the source of the feeling towards the bay window. Someone was staring at her from across the street.